Hello, everyone. This is Talk Time with Cynthia. I want to talk about some things today. I want to talk about recidivism rate. First of all, I want to talk about young people, catching them and making sure that we nurture them before they get to the point of crime, and noticing it early on in grade school or when they're younger, and be able to realize and recognize a problem, whether you're their teacher, whether you're somebody in the neighborhood, so that you catch it early on, so that we don't have to have so many people in and out of the prisons. So because that's a thing that's affect our society also. So we want to be a community that reaches out to our neighbors, even our young people, before they get to the point of getting in and out of these prisons. I know there's things that happen in people's lives and young people's lives that is psychological. And instead of putting them in juvenile detention centers and putting them in prisons and stuff, give them therapy. It's cheaper to put people through therapy and figure out what the problem is, opposed to putting them in prison. It's more money to feed them, clothe them, medicate them, hospitalize them, get them medical attention in prison than it is to put them in therapy for 2 or 3 years, opposed to putting somebody in prison for 25 years to life, and you work on them before they get to the point of destroying somebody else's life and destroying their own life, before they get to the point of drugs. And you catch them while they're young and while they're impressionable, so that we don't have to build more and more prisons. Now, in my mind, I feel like prisons and incarcerating people is a business, and that should not be so, because we all have loved ones or have had loved ones that ended up, whether it be in your immediate family or your distant family, that has ended up incarcerated. And we love those people. And it's, to me, everybody, it touches everybody. Everybody. Whether it be them going to prison and they come out even a more hardened criminal, then some of them don't even go into a criminal at all. They just need a mental, psychological help. So, and then I have an article here I'm going to read also, so I don't want to just get into the article right away, but I want to just say what I'm going to say that I normally say at the end, trying to do something a little different. And so, and then when they get out, and I'm going to show you how it affects all of us. And then when they get out, they're even even harder criminal than when they went in there. Then it affects us if they decide to kill somebody, if they decide to rob somebody because they couldn't deal with what happened to them in prison. So now they come out angry and mad at the world because of what happened to them. And sometimes they go in young kids, and they don't know how to process what happened to them when they get in there. And some of them go in there just by just a minor mistake and end up getting major time. So, but the thing is, so when they come out, we got to make it so when they come out, then they just the effects of it touches all of us. So what we need to do is just try and make a difference in a child's life. And also we can make a difference in those adults' life that's been in there, because they too can have counseling and can be reached. Sometimes you're gonna have people that is gonna fall through the cracks, and I don't want to say fall through the cracks, because then that's insinuating that nobody, nothing's being done. But you probably gonna have people that is beyond help, but at least the effort should be put forth regardless. Those tools should be available to them regardless if they're gonna fall through the crack or not. And not feeling like it's a waste, because no human being's life is a waste. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it. I just have so much, and this touches my heart so deep, because I just feel like I said, we're trying to reach our community, reach our world, and we just got to start somewhere. And this is one of the other ideas that I came up with too, because I just feel like we just have to do whatever we can to make it better, make our community, our world better. And this is one of the ways. So let me read it. This says, preventing future crime with cognitive behavioral therapy. One form of psychotherapy stands out in the criminal justice system. Okay? And this is by Patrick Clark. And it says, cognitive behavioral therapy reduces recidivism in both juveniles and adults. So it can help juveniles and adults. The therapy assumes that some people can become conscious of their own thoughts and behaviors and then make positive changes to them. A person's thoughts are often the result of experience, and behavior is often influenced and promoted by these thoughts. In addition, thoughts may sometimes become distorted and fail to reflect reality accurately. Cognitive behavioral therapy has been found to be effective with juveniles and adult offenders, substance abuse and violent offenders, and probationers, prisoners, and parolees. It is effective in various criminal justice settings, both in institutions and in the community, and addresses a host of problems associated with criminal behavior. For instance, in most cognitive behavioral therapy programs, offenders improve their social skills, means end problem solving, criminal reasoning, moral reasoning, cognitive style, self-control, impulse management, and self-efficiency. Okay. And then it says, recently Mark Lipsey of Vanderbilt University examined the effectiveness of various approaches to intervention with young offenders. His review analyzed the results of 548 studies from 1958 to 2002 that assess intervention policies, practices, and programs. Lindsay grouped evaluations into 7 categories: counseling, deference, discipline, multiple coordinated services, restorative programs, skill building, surveillance. When he combined and compared the effects of these interventions, he found that those based on punishment and deterrence appeared to increase criminal recidivism. On the other hand, therapeutic approaches based on counseling, skill building, and multiple services had the greatest impact in reducing further criminal behavior. Lindsay also examined the effectiveness of various therapeutic interventions. In particular, he compared different counseling and skill building approaches. He found that cognitive behavioral skill building approaches were more effective in reducing further criminal behavior than any other intervention. In a different research review, Nana Landenberger and Lindsay showed that programs based on cognitive behavioral therapy are effective with juvenile and adult criminal offenders in various criminal justice settings, including prison, residential, community, probation, and parole. They examined research studies published from 1965 through 2005 and found 58 that could be included in their review and analysis. The researchers found that cognitive behavioral therapy significantly reduced recidivism even among high-risk offenders. Perceptions affect behavior. I'm going to say that again. Perceptions affect behavior. Beliefs, attitudes, and values affect the way people think and how they view problems. These beliefs can distort the way a person views reality, interacts with other people, and experiences everyday life. Cognitive behavioral therapy can help restructure distorted thinking and perception, which in turn changes a person's behavior for the better. Characteristics of distorted thinking may include immature or developmentally arrested thoughts, poor problem solving and decision making, and inability to consider the effects of one's behavior. An egocentric viewpoint with a negative view or lack of trust in other people. A hampered ability to reason and accept blame for wrongdoing. A mistaken belief of entitlement, including and inability to delay gratification, confusing what wants and needs, and ignoring the rights of other people. A tendency to act on impulse, including a lack of self-control and empathy, an inability to manage feelings of anger, the use of force and violence as a means to achieve goals. Therapy can help a person address and change these unproductive and instrumental beliefs, views, and thoughts. Oh my God, detrimental. Sorry, guys. Unproductive and detrimental beliefs, views, and thoughts. Okay. Then it says cognitive behavioral therapy and criminal offenders. Landenberg and Lindsay found that even high-risk behavior did not reduce the therapy's effectiveness. For example, some of the greatest effects were among more serious offenders. Y'all see that? It may be the therapy's enabling self-help approach is more effective in engaging typically resistant clients, that it increases their participation and therefore the benefit of participation. The therapy is more effective in reducing further criminal behavior when clients simultaneously receive other support, such as supervision, employment, education, and training, and other mental health counseling. So that right there show you that it should start in the home. But if you have a student that come to you in your classroom, it is your responsibility. And I know a lot of people think it is not. That's not my child. They should have been raised. Well, sometimes they don't have that raising at home. Sometimes the problem is from the home. So if you have a child that comes to your classroom with a problem, can't read, these kids should come out of school reading. It is your responsibility as a teacher, as a community leader, as a person in your community. Your community is your responsibility. Do not let a child go by you and you call yourself, and you are, I ain't gonna say call because I don't want to be disrespectful, and you are an educator. There should be no child that go through 12 years of school or whatever amount of years of school. I say that first or second year in school, they should be learning to read. There shouldn't be a child that don't know the sounds of the alphabet grown. Look, we got to do better, y'all. We have to do better. And it start when they're young. And also we got to reach out our hands to those that are older that is looking for the help. And be more approachable. So those who are not looking for the help or afraid to look for the help will see somebody that is approachable and that they can ask for help for them. So anyway, so let me finish. The cognitive behavioral therapy approach has recently been used in many prepackaged brand name programs such as reasoning and rehabilitation, aggression replacement therapy, thinking for change in others. The National Institute of Corrections recently published a thorough and comprehensive review of cognitive behavioral therapy, which provides detailed descriptions of these and other programs. Interestingly, although the Lindenberger and Lindsay review shows these programs were effective, no single program was superior in reducing recidivism. So yeah, so and you know, maybe these programs are out there and maybe people are trying but they don't know quite how. So the thing is, when you see something ain't working, okay, what's the next step? You understand what I'm saying? What is the next step that we take? Because you know, nobody have a manual. Just like parenting, nobody have a manual to, you know, these things in life that we have to try and figure out. But figure out we must. Otherwise, this prison system, it affects all of us. I mean, how many people been robbed? How many people been raped? How many people been lives been devastated because they had family members taken away from them senselessly? So you can't look at somebody and put them in prison and then think, I can't see it from my house, or it doesn't affect me, because if they get out, guess what? It might be you that is affected by an act or something that somebody went in there and wasn't a major crime, and then they get in there and they turn into this person of in survival mode, and then they've been in there so long, then they get out, it affects, and then they do something, an atrocity. It affects all of us. It affects all of us. So don't feel like, oh, that's where they belong, behind bars. Okay, granted, maybe some people do, but listen, let's do better. Let's start with our kids. If you're a teacher, start with the kids in your class. Be that person that can be outreached to, that can be that reach for the kids and add into their life. Be that person. Okay, so let me finish reading this because I just got a little bit more. And then it says, okay, let me see. Oh, this is just saying more research is needed to determine if it would be effective for offenders to receive cognitive behavioral therapy earlier in their criminal careers, or as part of early intervention or parenting training programs. I believe that. When you see, and even like in your household, when you see your child is a little off kilter, that's when you grab them and you sit them down and say, hey, baby, you know, and I know sometimes being a single parent, that's going to be hard. They sit them down and say, hey, baby, you know, I noticed that it's something a little off with you. Or you make sure you correct them and let them know the right and the wrong of it. And because, like, I'm a single parent, so, but I always make sure that I would just sit. My kids would be walking around doing whatever, and it'll hit me to say things to them. Because it's in you as a parent to know what to do for your children. God put that in there. It's in you to know what to do for your kids. You just got to be compassionate, sensitive to the need of your child, focusing on your child, and besides getting them food, going to work, paying bills, it's things other than that. Because if you don't, it will come to a place where if you don't raise your kids, then people out in the streets will raise your kids, and they ain't gonna love them the way you love them and tell them raise them the right way. They're gonna raise them the way that's gonna benefit them, depending on who it is. So yeah, so I really feel like that should be a part of the parenting program that can help us to raise our kids properly. You know, like I said, this don't come with a manual. And then you have people that have gone through a rough childhood themselves, and they didn't, and those things wasn't deposited into their spirit, so they don't have anything to withdraw and give to their kid. So yeah, I think there should be programs that exist, and even in the school system, when they see the child acting up, contact the parent and have the parent to go in with the child into the program, so that it helps everybody, you know. And then if the parent decide, to me, I think it should be a must. You shouldn't have an option whether or not you go into the program, because we need to make a difference in our kids' life, so that we don't have to be building prisons on top of prisons on top of prisons, so that they won't be out in these streets doing things that they ain't supposed to do. Now, there are some circumstances where you have good people get put into prison too, and we need to stop that, whether it be because of racism or whatever. We can't sit up there and put people in prison because we feel like they look like something this or they look like that. We just got to do better and be better. We got to do better and be better. We have to. It makes no sense for us to be as divided as we are, when we all have we all want the same thing. We want a good life for our kids. We want to be able to live in peace and be happy. We all want to just go to work and take care of our families. That's what we want. We all want the same thing. And if we sit down and we have that conversation with one another, you'll see we all want the same thing. We are not as different as we want to think that we are. We are not. We are not. We are all the same. The only thing that is different is our skin color. That's the only thing that is different. Okay? So, let's make a difference, y'all. Let's cut the foolishness out and make a difference. There should be no reason why that we don't reach for one another. There should be no reason why. So, but yeah, that's something that's close to my heart, because it affects everybody. We have people from all walks of life that deal with not having the proper tools to raise their kids. Kids are just abused. Just everything in every culture, in every race, things happen in our kids' life, and then they become adults, and then they get into the prison system, and nobody thinks to try to catch them before they get of age and get this therapy. And even adults can go through therapy, especially if they ain't rape somebody, if they ain't no mass murderer. These people can be wrecked. If they drug addict or something, take them and put them in a program and give them extensive counseling. Because in the end, it'll cost our government less, our society less. We'll pay less taxes. Because we're the one that is housing these people and feeding these people. Okay? So let's try to do different and do better. So counseling and cognitive, what it says? Cognitive behavioral therapy is, to me, the way to go. I love this article. So my cat is down here, y'all, screaming. Let me see if she'll come up here. But yeah, so I'm calling Bo Jasper she. It's a he. Jasper, you coming up? You want to say hey to the people? Here go Jasper, y'all. There go Jasper. Say hey. You say hey, Jasper? Huh? I got animal kid. He don't want to stay up too long. He'll scratch it too. Lord have mercy. Trying not to fall. But yeah. So I thought that article was really good. You know, I thought that article was really good. And I don't want to sound like I'm fussing or being harsh or whatever, because the reason I do this is because I love. I love everybody, and I think we should be able to get along. You know, I'm not so naive and think the whole world gonna come in and it's just gonna be, you know, a flower bed of Eve. But I believe that it's a lot more of us that can than a lot and then that can. So, and that's what I believe. So I just say thank you guys for coming to my channel. Appreciate you so much coming to my channel, and I enjoy you guys so much. And I'm just trying to use my platform to do the good that I consider good, and hopefully I have more people to consider the same thing. So, but I appreciate y'all coming. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and let me know your thoughts on starting from childhood to prison to make this different, so that we can make a change in our society in every area. Okay. Hey, and also don't forget to share and with your family and friends, and let them know what we're doing here on Talk Time with Cynthia, and y'all to become a part of the Talk Time family. Okay. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I love you. Love you so much. Bye.